All right, guys, welcome back to ToneBros. My name's Casey,
I'm Colin.
and we are going to start this episode. You guys should know the format of the show. We start with current topics, we move into some main topics, and we've got a gas or pass there in the middle. So I'm going to start with the current topic this week. The current topic is the new Epiphone headstocks.
Oh.
So they have changed the Epiphone headstocks on these inspired by Custom Shop, whatever, Epiphones, to be the exact same shape headstock as the Gibsons.
About time.
Oh.
I'm ready for this.
Okay.
Okay, speaking of somebody who started out on an Epiphone.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, that was what I first started out on. I had an Epiphone Les Paul. Still have it. And I always wanted the headstock to look like a darn Gibson.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It says Epiphone.
It says Epiphone, but I want it shaped like a Gibson. Because for some reason, I don't know, maybe the Epiphone headstock is a bit thinner. I don't know what's going on with it. But when you look down at the headstock, you're like, I'm almost there, but I'm a poser. It's fine and all, but I don't have the real thing. It's kind of like a kiddo that has knockoff Nikes. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I feel like I just will never get there. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think it's dumb.
I think it's great.
I think it's dumb.
Why do you think it's dumb?
So I think it's a cool idea to change the headstock. I honestly don't mind the Epiphone headstock, the old Epiphone headstock, which is still on a
But
bunch
you
of
never
guitars.
played one.
No, I never played one.
You never had
I
one.
never owned one.
Yeah, and I've got experience, and he doesn't.
But I wouldn't mind owning an Epiphone Casino with the old Epiphone headstock or
I think
whatever.
a Casino is the exception because everyone knows Epiphone Casino. If you have a Les Paul, an Epiphone Les Paul,
Yep.
and it is shaped like the old Epiphone headstock,
Right.
it just for some reason is
Here's
different.
the question though: these new Les Pauls are like $1,200 now
Yeah.
with the headstock. You do get the upgraded pickups. You get custom shop inspired pickups.
I think this is also
and upgraded pots and stuff.
this
but
is Epiphone's try to mend the fence, kind of like how Fender has done it with their Mexican line. I think this is Epiphone and Gibson's way to do that, and they're trying to get into that same market. So
are they gonna have cheaper Epiphones at $500 or $600 that have the old Epiphone headstock and then move into these different headstocks for the $1,200?
I don't know where that line's going to be, but I'm sure they're going to have.
They keep creeping up. They're gonna need something on the low end eventually. Where's our beginner guitars gonna be? Unless they're the specials with flat tops and all that stuff.
I was about to say they're going to have the ones that are like P90s or
There's so many brands that are making great guitars.
Yep.
For pretty inexpensive money.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Fender and Gibson are there too. They're making great guitars for money. You look at the classic Vibe series and stuff, and some of those Epiphones are really great too. But when you get to $1,200, and I don't know, we're kind of getting off the subject a little bit, but the dang headstock shape, it's cool that it's the same shape as Gibson.
I think it's awesome.
But whenever it says Epiphone on there, and it's Epiphone is, looks a mile longer than Gibson, and it's thumbs down.
Okay,
Boo.
so you think it's thumbs down for something that's a little closer than the original? To me,
Yeah.
that logic makes zero sense. But it's fine. People can be wrong too. It's okay.
It's just a different brand.
It is a different
It's
brand.
not the same.
It still says Epiphone. It's not like they're misleading people. It still says Epiphone.
Yeah, we're just in two different places with this.
That's fine.
And I don't know.
The headstock, who cares? I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it sucks.
That's fine. That's your opinion. You're wrong, but that's your opinion.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how time goes on. So just for that, I'm going to move into gas or pass. Maybe I can get some. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to move into the main topic now.
Okay.
So my main topic is if you had to build a pedal board and build your pedal board, no matter what size or what gig's going on, you don't really know, but if you had to live your life with one pedal brand on your pedal board,
Oh.
what's the brand of pedals you would go with for that one brand?
If I had one brand only.
You can only pick one. You can pick as many pedals as you want, whatever you're going to have. But what's the one brand of pedals you would go with? I think
It doesn't have to be like a certain price point. It could be any brand, no matter what.
any price point. but you can only use that brand's pedals.
Right.
Is there a brand that sticks out in your head?
I know who you're going to choose.
Okay.
I feel like without a doubt, I know who you're choosing.
I think you know who I'm probably going to choose.
You're saying Analog Man, aren't you?
Nope.
Really?
I'm not. Nope, I'm not.
Because Analog Man, I mean, that's a good shout.
That is a great
I feel
call.
like, as far as... All right, let me think about it, because you got to name all of them that could be in that realm. I feel like Wampler should be in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, obviously, Boss
Boss, yeah.
should be in it.
Boss is, yeah.
They should be...
Let's bring Boss back. Let's make Boss great again.
Okay, JHS is doing that, all right? They paired up with Boss, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. And Josh talks about some awesome things that Boss does all the time.
Yeah.
So, Wampler, Boss, Analog Man, I think Way Huge should be up there.
Okay. I didn't see that. Okay.
Way Huge makes some great stuff.
Yeah, I think I would struggle with their overdrive stuff.
No, not if you had like
Maybe
the
not.
Saucy Box or anything like
maybe
that.
not.
MXR makes some great stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. What are you thinking? What's your...
My gut instinct, and I mean JHS is out there. They make great stuff, right? Two Rocket Pedals makes really cool stuff. There's a ton of people. We can just name brands all day that have a great line of pedals. But if I think like, what do I need as in pedals, and what would I go for and feel most comfortable with? Without a doubt, I would go with Wampler. My number one most important thing is going to be my drives. It's number one. And Wampler is the king of drives. It seems like no matter if it's amp in the box, if it's boost pedals, no matter what it is, every time I've played one of his pedals, I've been like, wow, this is good. I might not have been blown away, which I have been with a lot of his pedals, but I think I would be very happy with a huge selection of drive pedals he's got. He doesn't have tons of modulation pedals, but what does he have? He's got the Terraform. The Terraform is... You've got a Terraform.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
It's amazing. It's got all these different settings you can throw on there. You can pull up presets. You can control it with MIDI, I think. You could add expression pedals and do all these different things. And then you look at his like delays and stuff, and his tape echo delay, great pedal. So
I think we should say we're not sponsored by any of these companies.
No.
We just really love the products. I think Wampler is a great choice. I would say, to me, JHS doesn't have quite the encompassing drives that Wampler does, but I think everything that
not
they do
our
is
type of drives.
not our type.
They do have a lot of.
I will say, they
buzzes
do a lot of awesome stuff. I feel like if you were going for, trying to get a broad sound, you can have anything you want. you almost can't go wrong with Boss.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yep.
They have great stuff. They have great multi-effects. They have great, DD5 billion, whatever you want. I think you almost would have to go Boss. If I was told I can't go Boss or MXR, I think I would say Analog Man.
Would you go MXR before Analog Man?
If it's trying to cover as much ground as possible, probably.
Yeah.
Because it is the most universal sounds that you have.
Yeah.
You think of their Chorus, you think of their Dynacomp, you think they are a huge brand that have made a big impact on music.
Yeah.
One we totally forgot? Electro Harmonics.
Yeah.
They got great stuff too.
Electro Harmonics.
They've got pretty much anything you want too.
Yeah.
So
you're just thinking about that for that Memory Man delay.
not just the Memory Man. You think of they got the Soul Food.
Stuff.
They've got
a
lot of awesome stuff. So
yeah, I think Analog Man would be a great option, but I think my problem with Analog Man is if I really start to move into a lot of modulation stuff.
Right.
I guess you could look into his modded series
that's why
stuff.
you look at MXR. They even have a tape delay stuff like
They've
that.
got all that stuff. MXR is a really good call too. I think for me number one would be Wampler because I can think about my board and every pedal I could replace with a Wampler version of it, and I know that I would be very happy with it. With the pedals I'm thinking in my head. And I could cover any ground. I think with Analog Man, I'd be very happy with certain pieces. And then maybe if I had to cover certain ground, I wouldn't be as happy.
So if I had to choose one, I would say probably MXR before anything else.
Yeah.
Looking at their whole catalog.
Boss is a good call, though, too.
Boss is great, too.
Huh.
So,
MXR.
And
I'll go Wampler.
Yep.
So, okay. So, you want to hit your gas or pass?
Sounds good. If I can open this sheet of paper. Okay. This is something that we haven't really talked about a whole lot, but I'm curious your thoughts. What is your feelings on gold foil pickups? Gold foil pickups, is that a gas or is that a pass for you? What do you think? Because to me personally, all right, I'll state its case here. I feel like they have a total unique sound. Gold foil pickups, it's almost like if you had a mini humbucker, if you had lipstick, type of pickup, and kind of married the two. It's kind of like, from what I can tell, it's gnarly sound. Because I've only played a gold foil pickup like once, so I can't say a whole lot about it. But I'm interested in it because I feel like it would get a totally unique sound. I think it would be awesome for even like slide players. I think that would have a really cool sound. I think of like, now he doesn't play these types of guitars really, but Joey Landreth. Who was the guy that was on Andertons for a while? He plays some different guitars. He plays slide too. Ariel Posen.
Yeah.
I think he plays some gold foil pickups. Like, I think it's an awesome sound, like for a swampy type of sound. So, what are your thoughts? You want to gas or pass on that one?
Oh, so gold foil pickups. I've been interested in gold foil pickups. So I've had my eyes on a couple of these Supro guitars they put out here a while back. And there was a Supro guitar that was like a single pickup. It's like, I forgot the name of it, like Super Sport or so, I don't remember, something along those lines. But it had like a gold foil kind of style looking pickup in it. Watched some videos, sounded great, just that kind of gnarly gold foil tone. And it's kind of, it kind of gives me the vibes and the feel of what I want out of one of those crappy like Teisco guitars.
Okay.
And like pawn shop kind of guitars.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to get it, I would want it in kind of a crappy guitar.
Yeah, just like a total, like, take it to any type of bar gig.
Just beater, or maybe like a unique sound, like, oh, it's time for that like cool swampy type sound.
Right.
And I'm going to get something weird. You play a regular guitar, but I'm going to get like a weird gold foil guitar, or I'm going to get like a baritone.
Right.
Or it's like something like funky sounding. And I think that would be really interesting. I've thought about before playing with sticking some gold foil pickups in some of my current guitars just to play with, because I am that interested. But yeah, for me, it's definitely a gas. I don't have any experience with them other than just listening to them, because they're kind of hard to get a hold of.
For sure.
They're harder than P90s, and P90s are hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a gas for me. Gold foil pickups.
Do you see it like as something that you would eventually have in your lineup? Like if you decided to, do you feel like you would get one day?
Yes.
Like actually?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I would have to play the right guitar, and I think it needs to be kind of a beater. I don't want some real fancy guitar with gold foils. Sometimes you see some of these like real high-end custom makers, and they'll throw a gold foil in a couple of guitars. And I'm sure they sound great. I'm sure it's a great playing guitar and amazing. But to me, in my head, that type of sound and that type of feel needs something kind of like Jack White, where you kind of got to fight it a little bit. Like you're kind of fighting it. It brings me back to that like scene in It Might Get Loud, where he's hammering that pickup into that piece of wood.
Oh, that is so
with
cool.
The string.
I love that scene. Yeah.
It kind of gives me that type of vibes for what I would want from it. Needs to be vibey, needs to be special for a certain song, but it's definitely a gas.
Okay.
So,
all right, it's your turn now. All right, Casey, what is your gas or pass?
Gas or pass for me is these new Vimaran pedals that's been coming out. The Buddy G has been out. It's not like one particular pedal, but this is a brand that we haven't really talked about much at all. They're pretty pricey when they're out there. A lot of people love them. And there's the Shanks drive, which is like ODR style.
Right.
There's the Buddy G one that's out, that's a boost, and like the Michael Landau one that's out there.
I think Josh Smith has
there's
a signature.
And the one that got really popular was the Mach Tube Screamer, right? So Tube Screamer-esque pedal. And yeah, so when I look at them, they're beautiful looking pedals. They're all like gold and real fancy. But is it a gas? I'm going to kind of let you speak on it first. Is it a gas or pass for you?
Never played one, so I need to start out there. So this is all based on demos.
Mine too.
Which we all can agree, demos suck. Okay. Reason being is because you're not there to feel how it feels underneath the fingers. You're not there to A/B it with anything else. So, you're taking it at YouTube soundbite quality. So to me, like a Vimuram, is it Vimuram?
Vimuram?
Am I saying Pan or Pam?
Vimuram?
I'm trying to figure out, like, it's kind of like we talk about with the cliches, and you go with a certain Marshall sound when you want a Marshall. You go to a tube screamer when you want a tube screamer. Like, it might be the best rendition, but surely there's something out there. They're hitting, I feel like a lot of their pedals hit a market that's already out there. It's just modified in a certain way.
Yeah.
But seriously, take a tube screamer and put an EQ before or after it. Like, take a, like the Bonsai, the JHS Bonsai, if you want a tube screamer sound, and you put an EQ before or after it, and I would imagine you're probably getting close to that Vimuram sound.
Flip through it.
So, because those pedals, I've never seen one like under $250 used.
No, they're real expensive, and the limited edition ones are outrageously priced, I think.
Yeah. So, like, to me, it's a pass just because, like, as a working musician, like, it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money on something that is pretty close to something
that
else.
you can't even go and play in a shop most of the time.
You can't. It's
I've never
ordering
seen one. I've never seen one in a shop. Maybe used. There's some out there in a few shops, but they're hard to get a hold of. For me, it's definitely a pass. I'm sure they're great pedals, but for the price point and for what they are aiming towards a lot of times, you get 10 tube screamers in a row, and they're all going to sound different, right?
Yep.
So I'm sure it's great, and it's probably pretty consistent, but for me, it's a definite pass. I'm much more interested. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that is just kind of like...
I think a lot of it is, we can get into this some other day, but, would you rather have something that's boutique?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have the cliche or whatever the case it may be? Like, it might be a bit cheaper, but if you go for a boutique sound, it might be a little more expensive for a little closer to what you want. I don't know. To me,
I've got certain pieces of gear I feel differently about that with, which that is really interesting to get into at some point.
Yeah.
I could go on for an hour longer about that because there is certain pieces of gear I definitely want the boutique thing.
Right.
And then also maybe it's the manufacturer. Certain manufacturers.
You want to support certain companies.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about Vimuram. So.
I don't know. I don't either. Know very little. But I know that every time I look at them, I think, oh, maybe I should check this out. And I start flipping through a few things. I'm just like, I just can't do it.
For the price, it doesn't make sense for me. That's just it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Anyways, all right.
I think your main topic's up, right?
Oh, okay. Here we go. So, all right, Casey. Would you rather have an okay piece now, like let's say you want to buy a guitar and you have the money for an all right piece, or are you going to save a little bit more for your dream guitar? What are you going to do? Are you going to buy the guitar right now that's, it'll get the job done? Or are you going to save a little bit more money, that hard-earned cash, and actually get that dream guitar?
Is that now? Me now? Or is that a brand new player?
I say, that. What about you right now?
Me right now. Okay. So for me right now, I don't need another guitar necessarily. So I'm definitely going to save up that money and find that either dream guitar, maybe it's not a dream guitar, but that guitar that I absolutely love and that is special to me. I will go play through 30 guitars before I find the right one.
Right.
Because every one is going to be slightly different, even if it's the same model. So for me, it makes a lot more sense. I am past the point, for the most part. We just talked about pickups earlier, maybe me wanting to play with some pickups and some guitars. Those are guitars that I'm keeping because of like sentimental value type things, or guitars that I feel like I just need like this thing in my arsenal taken care of. If I'm going out buying a guitar today, I don't want to be flipping pickups. I don't want to be changing pickups. I don't want to be changing a bunch of things. And if I settle for something that's okay right now, I know I'm probably going to be changing some pickups in it, or wanting to change pickups, wanting to change a bridge, wanting to change this or that.
Or just a whole new guitar.
Or a whole new guitar. And then the other side of it is, if it's going to be a tool for a job, if I need a special like acoustic electric for a certain job, and I know I'm not going to be doing it a whole lot, maybe I do just get that workhorse. I think that's the time maybe you can get by with getting the workhorse that just gets the job done. But if it's something you're going to be playing a lot and you need to be inspired for or want to be inspired with a lot, I think that's the time it's probably more important to just go ahead and wait and save your money for it. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree totally. So, we're at a point where we're like,
You say we agree?
I know it's hard to believe. I don't like to talk about it. But seriously, we are at a point where we have kind of the basic necessities of our gear. So like we don't have to have, a single coil and have to have a humbucker. We've already got those in place. So, that being said, it's a little easier for us to say, you know what, I'm going to save up money and get the one I really want.
Yeah.
Now, if you're starting out, pretty new, you got to have a piece of equipment to get your job done, right? So if you are starting out and you start with one single coil, one humbucker guitar, and then you eventually get that dream equipment, we totally get that. We're kind of at that stage now where we have, I would say, mid-tier things, SG standard, stuff like that, production Strat or something like that, and then maybe a custom shop piece or something like that. So we are in, like, the stratosphere of what is acceptable for us to buy, and I feel like we're at the point where now we can start affording those dream pieces. Now, I'm not saying we're getting like a 59 Les Paul. We're not spending that kind of crazy money.
Right.
But, maybe we are starting to look at like actual vintage like juniors or actual like custom shop Les Pauls that are above $4,000.
Right.
Like, we're starting to get there. Not saying we're spending that kind of money all the time, but I think for us, we are definitely like, let's save that money. But if you're just starting out, like, get that okay piece. Start, earning some money. Start playing those shows to get you a little more experience, and that kind of lets you know how much money and where you want to put that money. Because I feel like when you first start buying like a Strat, you just get a blanketed Strat when you're first starting out. You don't know like maybe what custom shop year you want. So kind of building that, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I think also, like, if you're starting out and kind of get the couple pieces you need to get the job done, right? Get a humbucker guitar, a single coil if you need it, or maybe you're playing something heavy, so you need like a Floyd Rose guitar and like a, stop tail piece humbucker. And then take those and go play them. And then once you play them for a while, you realize what you're missing out of that guitar.
Right.
Like, that's the time where you play and you test and you figure out what you're missing and what you would like to have.
Or you can defy all the odds and just buy PRS and you got coil split. So,
well, you can. You can. But is that, like, are you finding that, PRS SE to be, like, okay guitar for what you're wanting for? And you find out that, you need that other thing.
Right.
So I think there's a time and place for both. I think if you are in need of something to get a job done, I think it's perfectly acceptable to pick up that guitar that is just okay for right now. And then use it,
And that will hopefully help you out when you want to get that dream piece.
Directs you to the right place. You don't want to be like starting out, have one guitar and like a little Fender Mustang GT amp, and then be like, you know what, my next amp? I'm going to buy that hand-wired Plexi 100-watt head.
Right. Big extremes.
Yeah, you don't, you save up money for it and you go ahead and buy it and you realize, this isn't what I needed,
I think we're just at the stage where we're tired of swapping like guitars in and out for the next thing. Like we just want to get the equipment and not think about it. Like I think guitar is one of those things where you want to do as much as you can of not thinking about what you're doing, and you just want to enjoy the moment and play.
Yeah.
So if I can take out any of those variables, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, the connection between you and what's coming out of the speakers hitting your audience.
Yeah.
And hopefully how your audience is perceiving it.
Yeah.
Is the most important thing. And I want the least amount of static in between that.
Right.
Anything that's causing static, I want to dump it.
Yep.
So.
But easier said than done,
Yeah.
Everything costs money, so.
Yep. Well, anyway, I think that's about it.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Catch you guys next week.